Hello, everyone. It's Sean here. It has been a while. For those of you who don't know, just about some background of where I've been. Um, I'm still in grad school, so I've been dealing with the semester and working full time and painting. And then on top of that, Hurricane Helene. For those who don't know, I live in Western North Carolina, so that was interesting. We were out of both work and classes for about 3 weeks. I my apartment is up on a hill, basically, so I fared well. Not much other than like few, like I would say probably like 4 or 5 days without internet was the most of the impact that I personally experienced, which thank goodness, my power only went out very briefly, never lost water. Um, but I did leave, like I left to go visit family because obviously we weren't working, because the rest of the town and surrounding areas did experience devastating. I mean, like, we still have classrooms that are unavailable to students. Just in my local area, I mean, there's of course still people without homes, and so I feel very privileged and very lucky to have fared so well, considering the surrounding people may have not done well. I know several people who actually did not fare so well. So, that being said, I would like to make more videos. I have a few topics coming up, but this one is unfortunately something pressing that I have to make a video about because this lady basically took advantage of this payment method that I'm going to talk about today, which is also the title of this video. Um, I thought instead of looking at me, you might want to look instead at some of the dolls. These are 4 dolls that I have available, and I will talk about each one of them in a little bit. But they are all listed on reborns.com, and that's where our story takes place. It began all on reborns.com. So a while back, I don't remember how long ago, reborns.com started to allow their sellers to connect a Stripe account to reborns.com. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what Stripe is a payment method that you can use. And you can use It's a way to be able to pay with your credit card directly on a website. It's a way to be able to use Klarna and Afterpay, um, which are where you can get the doll right away or whatever item you buy right away, and then your card will be continued to be charged on a regular basis. For most payments, that's every 2 weeks, so it automatically takes the money out of your account, and if you default on that payment, that's between you and the bank and your credit. So it's really a good idea. It sounds like a great thing to have as a reborn artist, to have people where they can still get your doll right away, but they don't have to pay the hundreds of dollars right away. That's why I connected my Reborns account to Stripe originally, because I wanted to give people more options to be able to afford my dolls. Not that my dolls are expensive to begin with. Let me be perfectly clear. My dolls are on the low end price wise, and that is done purposefully. I've always said no matter how good or whatever, however much I improved, I was going to keep my dolls relatively low priced. It's not my main source of income, and nor do I want it to be. And I just think it's fair, that people are able to, afford dolls of color because they're so ridiculously overpriced for most people. So I wanted to give people another option to pay for dolls, and that's why I connected my Reborns account to Stripe. Now, I have had several customers. I will say this. I've had several customers play with Stripe and not have an issue until this damn lady. And I am trying to be so respectful in this video, but she pissed me damn off. And you're going to see why in a second. So she purchases my Canon. Her name is Patty. and my Canon was priced already low. This Canon, by the way, and I'm going to show all the pictures because it's very relevant. This Canon was fully rooted, beautiful skin tone, fully rooted, with mohair, like not cheap hair, um, high quality hair. I thought he turned out really well, and he was only listed for $333 plus ship. Okay. I had lowered the price because he wasn't budging, and I know times are hard. And so I lowered his price to $333 plus ship. And that's what he sold for to this lady, Patty. Patty Wesley is her name. I'm naming and shaming because you'll see why. Like I said, there's a reason why I'm naming her. Um, a lot of times you'll see my videos nowadays. I've gotten more mature where I don't necessarily name people. I just talk about the scenarios. But for her, her name needs to be out there because she is straight up scamming basically at this point. So she purchases Canon, which is this doll. Let's try to. I'm gonna focus it for y'all because the pictures and everything is very important. So this is Canon. This is the doll in question that's sold to Patty. She wanted to see him as a girl, so I sent her additional pictures of him dressed as a girl. She liked him as a girl, so I sent Canon home as a girl. So that's also relevant for what I am discussing. So I send Canon out almost immediately because I ship very quickly because we have a post office on campus. And I always track the dolls and see, where they are. And so I saw that Canon had been delivered and Patty hadn't said anything, and that wasn't too unusual. A lot of times customers won't say anything, even if they like the doll and it's delivered. So I didn't think it was anything too odd that she hadn't said anything that the doll was delivered or anything like that. That part was all normal. So then a couple weeks later, she doesn't message me or say anything to me. She leaves me this nasty 2-star review on reborns.com. And it was my first negative review, and I'm going to show you guys that now. So, like I said, this is my Reborns account, and I still thankfully have a 5-star review because she's the only one who's, like I said, left me a negative review. Out of all the reviews and all the orders I've sold through reborns.com, this is my first negative review. So first of all, I was already like, what is she talking about? What the heck? Because at first, when it comes to your email, it just shows that you have a new review. And I saw that it was 2 stars, and I was like, what the hell? She, like I said, didn't say anything to me. So if you can't read her response, she wrote, prompt shipping and responsive. Boo-boos were not disclosed up front. I had to make 3 repairs to the baby. Head too heavy, too floppy, zip ties not filed downs, and the hands totally rust-colored on palms. So this doll had no boo-boos. Let me make that perfectly clear. I always state very, very, very clearly, because I have nothing to hide in my listings, if I find that a doll is not to my standards. You can look back at all of my listings on reborns.com, and I literally will price a doll accordingly and say this doll was not up to my liking. This doll is missing something. This doll, I don't like the coloring. I will say that every single time on my listings. So I was like, what the hell is she talking about? And then the boo-boos that she is talking about is, like I said in my reply, all of these things are buyer preference. There is a huge difference between something being wrong with the doll and something being buyer preference. She's talking about the weighting, mostly. She didn't like the way he was weighted. Okay. I get people who don't think I weight enough, and some people who love the way I weight the dolls. Some people think like her, who thought he was too heavy in the head. Literally, it is impossible to please every single customer when it comes to weighting. In fact, you might as well just weight your own damn doll and keep it moving. If you think you're going to get a perfectly weighted doll for your preference every single time you buy a doll. For me, and most customers want the head to be floppy. It is a newborn. It's meant to be floppy. So he was weighted to what most people want. So if she didn't like the way he was weighted, just changed the weighting. I would have very if she had messaged me, I would have happily walked her through if she didn't know how to reweight a doll. I have videos. I would have video chatted with her. I am very approachable. I always respond. Um, it just pisses me off that she didn't even think about, like, we had all this dialogue before she left this review, and now all of a sudden she felt like she couldn't, discuss this before leaving the review. So, and then the other part was that she didn't like the coloring on the hands and the zip ties not being filed down. Now, with the zip ties, that was my bad. Sometimes I'm like trying to put down together a doll, and I must not have filed them down all the ways. But that doesn't, again, equate to something being a boo boo or not as described. Zip ties are so easy to fix. Once again, it's something that she could have, just said to me, hey, I noticed you forgot to file some of the zip ties down. It's petty, it's petty little stuff. But the main thing that she's talking about with the coloring on the hands is such bull, because you saw the pictures of this doll, and I will go to his listing pictures again because I made it so clear in the listing what the coloring on the hands looked like. I took pictures of the front and back of the hands. It was very, 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 very clear what color the hands were. And the doll came and was sent exactly as pictured. So for her to act like she didn't know what color the hands were is a scam in itself, and it's a lie. It was so clear in the listing, and I'm going to show you. Sorry about the glare, of course, but I'm going to show you several of his pictures, and most of these were in his listing, especially the ones with his hands. Um, those were all in his listing. So most of, like, especially these pictures were definitely in his listing. You can tell very clearly, I mean, I'm showing you through a screen from another screen, that his hands were lighter. That was not a boo-boo. That was not undisclosed. It's very clear what color. You can see here, the feet. There we go. Those were also in his listing. These were all in his listing. You can tell the hands are lighter. This was all intentional. It was not a boo-boo. It was intentional to make it look like a real black newborn. The hands are lighter. I would show you a picture of my nephew, but I'm not going to blast his pictures on the entire internet. But his hands, he's currently only a few weeks old, and his hands are light like this. It was absolutely done on purpose and very, very clear in his pictures. Again, this is through a camera and looking at my phone, so it may not be showing up color-wise on here, but if you look at my Instagram or the listing itself, you would see that his hands are not the same color as the rest of his skin tone. So I didn't think I had to even state that that was obviously not a boo-boo. Duh, it was done clearly on purpose. And I didn't think I would have to tell a grown woman that. Especially someone who's a person of color like herself, she's not white, that black newborns have lighter hands and feet for a long time after they're born. I wouldn't think you would have to explain that to someone, but apparently she doesn't understand that that was intentional. It was never undisclosed. It was very clear in all the pictures. I mean, you literally saw that like I said, I took pictures of his palms, his back of his hands, everything, his nails. My photos are, I try to be as detailed as possible because of people like this who try to say that they didn't know how a doll looked. So poor Canon has been through a lot. Um, so I, you saw my response to her through Reborns in her response to the review. I was like, this is ridiculous. These are not boo-boos. These were things you knew about this doll. And the weighting and the zip ties are things that are easy fixes or preferences. They're not boo-boos. And for the price you paid, he's a beautiful doll. So a few days go by. after she left that review, and I responded to her review. And then all of a sudden in my email, I get a message from Stripe saying, customer has opened an inquiry against this payment, saying it was faulty default product. And I'll show you that. So this made me jump out of my skin because, like I said, this has never happened to me. Never. Anything that a customer doesn't have it has an issue with, we usually discuss it and rectify the situation. Never ever have I had a customer go to this bullshit of links. And I'm gonna be honest with you, what it really sounds like with Patty is buyer's remorse to me, because the very next day she's on Facebook looking for a new doll. She's looking for more dolls currently to this moment, which is why I'm naming and shaming her, um, which I'll get to. So this happens November 16th. I was like, fuck you. Why? Pardon my French, but that was my first response was, fuck you mean defective, damaged, or not as described. This doll was exactly as described. I took videos. I take videos of every single doll I pack up for this purpose, really, because people like to try to, take advantage of you or try to lie, which is the case here. So I go to my Stripe account and I'm trying to figure out how I can submit these videos and this evidence and to dispute this inquiry. And that's when I discovered that Stripe is incredibly flawed system. Do not use it if you're a reborn artist like myself. Do not use it. If you have Stripe if you're using Stripe right now, unlink it. I'm telling you, because of this. She used Stripe for payment, but she specifically used Klarna through Stripe. And with Klarna, well, like I mentioned earlier, is one of those pay in four things, where you pay only 1/4 down at a time, and then you're charged every 2 weeks. So she played specifically using Stripe with Klarna. And because she used Klarna, you cannot, at the inquiry stage, you cannot submit documentation to support your case as the seller. You cannot, defend yourself as the seller at this inquiry stage. With Klarna, or the bank that she used, you have to wait for it to escalate before you're even able to submit anything. Every single time that I tried to do anything, it just said no options other than email the person, email the customer, and try to come to a solution, or let it escalate into a actual disputable stage. Once it escalates past this stage right here, good luck. You're not going to win. That's why I'm like, this is such BS. Like, Stripe should never allow this to occur, because I literally was unable to take any action other than to email her. So it forced me to have to settle with her, which I'll show you as well what the solution ended up being, and which is why I'm also naming and shaming her, because now she's trying to essentially make a profit off of this doll that she's claiming is a boo-boo baby. Okay. So by this point, of course, I was pissed off, but I was trying my best to be very professional and give her options so we could settle the dispute. The inquiry, I should say. That's why I use this in parentheses, because it really is a pre-dispute stage. Like I said earlier, I know it's so hard to follow, but it goes for Klarna payments and Stripe. It goes inquiry, and then it moves to dispute if you don't take action. Dispute is where it's almost impossible to win your case, even if you have video evidence like me of how you sent off the item. So I was trying to avoid getting to that point because, like, ugh. So here's my email to Patty. I said, despite my policy being no refunds, which is clearly stated on Reborns, I gave her two options. The first one was to drop the quote-unquote dispute and send him back to me, send the doll back to me, send Canon back to me. And once you send the tracking number, I will refund her in full. Or option two, drop the quote-unquote dispute, Keep the doll that you apparently don't like, and I will refund you half. Let me know how you want to proceed. So she chose option two. So I immediately, after she dropped the inquiry in Stripe, I immediately refunded her half. And I will show you that. So she has two last names, I should mention as well. She goes by like apparently like three different last names, which again, uh, so you can see here I'm blocking out some of our personal information. Um, but I immediately sent her exactly half a bag, which included the shipping that she paid. So I sent her back $181.50. This was the same day that she dropped the inquiry. So then I come to find out from friends, I had no clue that she was posting this doll all over Facebook trying to sell it. And I had no idea she was doing all that while we were going through this process. So this is her most recent post, literally as of the 19th, which was after I refunded her. If you recall, I refunded her on November 17th. And 2 days later, this lady is posting this doll for $250 fucking dollars. $250 fucking dollars. I'm pissed because now she's trying to make a profit. Let's do the math here. So she's saying, again, once again, she's saying it's a boo-boo baby because the hands are lighter. Once again, that was not a boo-boo. That was intentional. Once again, that was intentional. Not a boo-boo. Ignore her. She's lying. Let's do the math real quick. So this doll, I keep getting spam calls. Didn't I? This doll was originally, if you recall, was $333 plus shipping. So it came out to around $363 exactly, I believe. Yeah, because half of that's 181.5. Okay, so $363 is what this doll was purchased for, brand new from me to her, shipped. Okay, I have already refunded her half, $181.50, and now she's listing it to $250. She's trying to make a profit of, hold on, let me do the math real quick in my head. She is trying to make a profit of about $70 off of a doll that she herself said she didn't like and thought it was a quote unquote boo boo. What fucking sense does that make? This doll clearly is not a boo boo baby if you're sitting here trying to make a $70 profit off of my work, which you left me a poor review for. I hope you guys understand why this pisses me off specifically so bad. This was just of the 19th. So she's still trying to make a profit off of my work after I've refunded her so kindly. After I've been like, whatever, you don't like the doll, that's one thing. But to come on here on the World Wide Web and try to make a profit off of my work that you put me through hell for? Yeah, no. So I just wanted y'all to warn y'all about how Stripe works as someone who just went through the poor part of their service. I wanted you to warn you specifically about her because she is constantly posting on Facebook looking for new dolls. And if you work with her, good luck, because that doll better be, immaculate apparently. I thought this doll was great for the price. She has some weird expectations. I don't really know what her deal is, but she is literally right now on Facebook. I saw her post, I think today, looking for a new doll. Okay, and I've been warning, this has like been going on for weeks, like clearly. I've been like in behind the scenes warning my friends that are commenting on her posts that I know personally to not sell to her or be aware because of the situation I just had with her. But it's not enough. I think everyone needs to be aware of her. I'm not saying, you can sell to whoever you decide to. Just wanted to share my experience with her, with Stripe, with how their payments work, with how their quote unquote inquiries work, because it's never going to be friendly to a seller, even if you have all the proof in the world, like I do, of how this doll was sold, how this doll was shipped. I have all the proof in the world. I mean, it's on this camera that I'm using, so I can't show you the video, but if I needed to, I could post the box packing video, because like I said, I have video evidence of me packing this exact doll away. So it doesn't matter though, because of how Stripe works. The seller almost always wins, and I mean the buyer almost always wins, even though she's clearly full of it. So I wanted to warn you guys. I know this video is long, and I'm pissed clearly still, because it's just like I've never had experience like this, and I've been painting for, I think, going on 6 years, and so I've never had experience quite like this to this extent until I went through Stripe and accepted Stripe as payments. So if it's not clear enough, I no longer use Stripe or accept Stripe as payment on Reborns.com. I deleted my Stripe account as soon as this was all quote unquote settled with her, and she removed the inquiry and I refunded her. I deleted my Stripe account. I said, fuck that. And deleted all my account on there, because I was not going to be going through this scenario again, where she can basically get away with trying to make a $70 profit from my doll, my work. So yeah, that's the situation with Stripe. That's the situation with this Canon doll, and all that. That being said, I wanted to show you guys these dolls because they're not, this is horrible lighting. Yeah, you get the gist. But they have better pictures on their individual listings on Reborns.com, but I'm just going to briefly tell you about them. This is Ravi by Priscilla Lopez. He has soft human hair. It's very soft. And he's very newborn. And to make it so clear in his listing, he has lighter hands and feet to have that newborn look. It's intentional. I literally state that in his listing, because of all of this. I guess have to state that every time where I do that, because I don't do the newborn hands and feet on every doll, just when I think it feels right. And for Ravi, he's a bigger newborn, like he's wearing 0 to 3 months, but he looks very newborn to me, like just a big chunky newborn. So I made him a newborn painting style, and he turned out beautifully. Like I said, this lighting is not doing him justice. And he is currently listed at $475. This little baby right here has been available for a little while. This is Rawson. Again, intentionally newborn hands and feet, because this is a smaller newborn, and so it just felt right. Not a boo-boo baby. It does have comby hair, and all of that is in the listing as well. This baby is what I'm basically a budget baby. I put a lot of detail into it, but Rawson is only listed at $225 plus ship right now. And like I said, it's a newborn size doll, smaller than Ravi, because Ravi's really 0 to 3 month size. But that biracial newborn skin tone, available, ready to ship. All of these dolls are ready to ship, basically. Of course, the holidays this week, so be mindful of that. But otherwise, this is June, 7 months awake. Well, clearly, I didn't need to really say that part. But June has human hair, and Ravi has, this is mohair, partially. And June, 7 months, is a big baby. June is 6 to 9 month size, a lot of 12 months, really. And yeah, human hair, very soft. Different type of hair, but still very, very soft and curly. Ready to go, has many items to fit, because I love shopping for this size. Really sweet doll, chunky little thing, very heavy. Lots more pictures, of course, like I said, on their individual listings on Reborns.com/UniRebornDad. And you can see my other reviews on there that are not Patty. Um, this is Jupiter. She is a darker skin tone. She is so sweet. I love how she turned out. She was a struggle to paint. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Her mouth was so hard to paint. I can't even explain. She is a like a medium tone. If you can see my skin tone next to her, she's darker. Human hair, soft, wavy human hair. Gold. Does she have glass eyes? Yes, she has gray glass eyes. And she is the one I just completed. Right, they were basically completed at the same time, Ravi and her. So she's newer. And yes, she wears 3 to 6 months best, and she's just a happy little baby. I really like how she turned out. And did I list all the prices? I can't remember. So 475, 225 plus ship, 444 plus ship, and then what did I list her as? Oh, 525. I think that's yes, 525 for sure. But yeah, if you are interested in any of these dolls, you can message me on reborns.com. I have my messages open on there, and hopefully one of them will sell soon so that I can have these dolls out before the holidays as someone's Christmas present. Because as maybe some of you know, the last day to ship and have it guaranteed by Christmas is typically the week before Christmas. And I actually will be out of town from December 22nd to January 4th. So if you want a doll from me around the holidays, just be aware I will literally be out of town and away from the dolls. So, keep that in mind. I guess that's really all I wanted to say in this video. Like I said, I'm sorry it's a long one, but hey, I haven't made a video in a while, so you know, I think it's fair. And it was so much, so kind of warranted a longer video. But yep, these are the ones I have available. They're just gonna be chilling until they find a nice little home. All right, you guys, beware and be safe out there, and I will see you guys next time.